Hello, please join me for a day hike in the largest Carolinian forest in southern Ontario called the Backus Woods, 600 acres of beautiful old growth Carolinian trees. If you enjoy my videos and my channel, please consider subscribing and liking my videos. It would help me to grow the channel. Thank you very much. Well, hello again, everyone. This is Henri, and I'm on my way to a unique location. We are 500 kilometers south of where I live, near the north shore of Lake Erie, Ontario. That's where we are, not where I live. And but anyhow, visiting some folks here, and gives me a chance to explore some Carolinian. There was very little of this left. This land in this area is mainly full of really good soils, so it was easy for the original pioneers at the turn of the 1800s to bring down the big trees and make farmland that we have here now. And so the idea of the original, or at least reasonably close to original forest that was here before is hard to find. And so there's an area here that's been kept originally by a logging company and then later purchased by a philanthropist and given to the Conservation Authority. So we're really fortunate that this is here. It's about 400 or 500 acres. It's good size. There's about 21 kilometers of trails in there. I've been here before, but it was just kind of a quick trip. So today I'm really hoping to have a really good look at it. So we'll see how this goes, and hope to show you some of the unique features of a forest that's this far south, here still in Canada. The other thing that I'm doing is testing some new gear. I have an action camera, and I'm got some new attachments for it, so I'm going to try that out a bit and see what works and what doesn't. Still having trouble stopping the shaking part, but we'll just have to see what we can do with that. So show you the forest. So thanks for coming along, and hopefully you'll enjoy this video. So one thing that I've found useful with my trips, especially when it's a day trip and I'm taking a lot of camera stuff and other equipment and so on, or if I'm driving and I don't want to wear my boots the whole way, I find it nice to have this lawn chair and this small table, which packs away quite easily and allows me to organize my things without having them on the ground or on the hood of the car when it's sliding off and things like that. So it's just a little aside. I got this thing from Amazon for only $25 Canadian. So it's been just great, and it's a good size, and again allows you to organize things. So just another little tip that tends to make it a bit easier. Probably should, and often I hike without any repellent on my legs, except that the mosquitoes are really bad. But this far south, ticks are a real concern, and so with the growth and all the rest, so, and I use DEET, I find it more effective. I just keep it away from my hands and stuff so I don't touch my equipment with it. Doesn't seem to be too many bugs at bay today, flying around anyway, so I suspect that in the forest it shouldn't be too bad. So I'm not bothering with my back and my arms, but just mainly for my legs. Takes a bit of time to get all the electronics organized, but we're on our way. This is the Backus farm, the ground house, and the buildings, at least as they sit now. This area was taken from the Crown in 1796, which for Ontario makes it ancient. My suspicion is that all these things were built long after that. But this was the fellow who built the mill and pushed the buttons to develop part of this area. And this is, one way or the other, it fell down through the years and it has been preserved, and we're very fortunate. This is the back of the house, and this wooden structure is probably a summer kitchen, so in the summertime the stove would be brought out of the kitchen in the house and to this area so that when it was used to prepare food it wouldn't heat up the house and make it impossible to sleep in. This house apparently is dated from 1852 and would be the second or third house on the site depending on the circumstances. First one being a log cabin, which has been lost, it appears. Sometimes the second house would be a saw and log house, bigger, hard to say. But 1852 is fully 3 generations after the original settlers, so it's hard to say whether there was an interim house or not. There are other items on here that have been transported from other places, kind of like a mini pioneer village. A lot of it from the 1800s and early 1900s. This is a very nice place. So this mill is a National Historic Site here. So there's the river flow, and then I'm on the dam, and it's diverted through a sluice to the wheel. And there's the mill from 1798, I believe. Made out of wood, as you'd expect in those days. Remarkable that it didn't burn down. So there's some Ontario history for you. So I've just gotten started here, and I've gone to the conservation area that's developed. It is the site of the farm and home of the family that built this whole area. And what's amazing, aside from the history, is that so far all the birds that I've heard I don't recognize, and so many of the trees are walnuts and locusts and other types of southern trees, hickories and so on. It's truly amazing the difference between, say, North Bay or north of there and here. So transformation, as you might expect in climate. So I just had a nice lunch and finished here at the conservation pretty much. Now I'm going to be heading north into the actual Backus Woods and a chance to explore. One of the things you really notice here are how big the trees are. Many of the large deciduous trees here are 2 feet, 3 feet across, have obviously never been cut. So it's just amazing, a whole different feel. The canopies of the walnuts and trees could be, like the one in front of me here, must be 50, 60, 70 feet wide. It's just amazing, the whole different feel to it. The understory of the forest doesn't feel as scrambly, as scrappy as you get in a northern forest. So it's just kind of interesting. Maybe the decay rates are higher, I don't know. But certainly quite a difference between the two areas. So the trails in here, again south of the 3rd concession road, are really old bush roads or logging roads. Hard to say. The trees are really old, so it's hard to tell the situation. You can see here that this has been cut and it's actually partially graveled. There's some gravel right there. So it's quite interesting that the footprints and handprints of people are all over this forest. But again, the trees That tree in front of you there has got to be 18 inches thick. And you don't have to look very far, and there's the one in the distance there is over 2 feet thick. So it's really quite a spectacular place. And again, we really haven't gotten started yet. It may not show very well on the video, but the overstory really makes it open underneath. And you can see 100 meters under these trees. Absolutely beautiful. And the height of the canopy has to be 60, 70 feet here, maybe more in some places. Spectacular old trees everywhere. How this area got clear cut is hard to say, whether it was part of the Backus Woods or was purchased later on. But this would have been forest here and got mowed down for commercial interest. And you can see this happened a while ago, and it takes a long time to recover, especially when it's not replanted. I understand that we are all culpable in the sense of destroying beautiful natural things when we build our homes with wood, or we eat meat in the store, or what have you. And I accept that. But it is, considering how much has been destroyed in the last 200 years here in Ontario, it's nice that we keep this area and ones like it sacred for all of us. So I'm at lunch 2 at the north end of the Backus Woods, and you can see the sun's coming out again. We had grumbly thunder and a bit of showers, but really nothing too exciting. But the bugs really came out when the rain threatened, so that's been a bit of a bear. But I'm going to have a snack here, and then we'll start out. So I've lost about a 2-kilometer section where I wasn't able to make any video due to the potential for rain on my equipment. But it's looking better now, so hopefully that'll be okay. So that's lunch 2, and we've got along pretty well. Got a bit of sun and some blue sky again, so it looks like the rain is held off. And got a nice little spot here with the park bench. The mosquitoes have really showed up when the rain threatened, and it's quite a difference from where it was this morning. Anyhow, see you later. Here's a grove of big trees. There may well be other ones that are bigger, but just to give you an idea. Now these trees are the best part of 100 feet tall, maybe more, and almost straight up for the first 60 meter or 30 meters. It's truly amazing. So I'm just going to walk amongst them here so you can see the scale. It's got to be 2 feet across, this one. That's 2 feet across where I'm putting my hand, and probably 3 feet at the base. It's amazing. Hard to tell that bark is similar, and again, these types of trees are not my expertise, but it sure is amazing to walk amongst them. So this trail system is beautifully designed because it's a grid of sorts with all these interconnecting trails. So a hiker can choose the length of the trail that they choose to walk. They can walk it forwards or backwards. They can change it from time to time, making the hikes from one day to the next more interesting. This is far superior to just straight loop trails where you really have no choice. So I really commend the folks who run this. This is a first-class trail network here. The trails are well maintained, and it was a very enjoyable day. Well, thank you very much for coming with me today. That was a really nice walk through a pretty unique forest. It's the largest Carolinian forest we have left here in Ontario. And there's, I don't know, 500 or 600 acres, maybe more there, but where I walked at least anyway. And I got just over 20 kilometers, but that's also including going back and forth a little bit to do the camera shots. So I had a pretty nice day. If you're ever in the Simcoe, Ontario area, it's called the Backus Woods Conservation. It's free. It's well worth a day hike here very much. And thanks again for coming with me, and we'll see you down the trail. To find the location of the Backus Woods, one first can look at Lake Ontario on a road map and see the large city of Hamilton at the west end of Lake Ontario. And that's marked as number 1 on the map. If you then go a couple of 100 kilometers to the west, you will find the other major city of London, Ontario. That's marked number 2 on my map. About 1/3 of the way between Hamilton and London, you get the smaller city of Brantford, Ontario, number 3 on my map. If you then go south about 50 kilometers from Brantford, you come to the smaller town of Simcoe, Ontario, marked number 4 on my map. If you follow Highway 24 south of Simcoe around the corner and then west-southwest for about 30 kilometers, you come to the Backus Woods, which is marked as number 5 and is that darker green patch on the map. So here's the route that I followed on my tour of the Backus Woods. I largely followed the perimeter of the trail system. My car was parked at position 1. I then went south of Concession Road number 3 into the developed area, which is identified roughly around number 2. I would say the mill and the Backus home is around the number 2 area, maybe the mill's a little further down. I then went back up to the east, crossed Concession 3 through the woods. There was a very lush area in that region, and then through the main part of the forest where you do see a lot of larger trees, and all the way over to this extended area across the quarter line identified by number 3. You start off it comes out into a logged area, an area that's been cleared from the past, and then you come out, and then you go back into the forest again, although this is a much younger forest, and then back out again. It's a bit of a loop, and you double that path. When I was coming back in that area, that's when the rain threatened. And it was really interesting when the clouds were quite dark at the time. And so when I went back into the forest, it was really quite dark when I was walking along for a little while. When I got to item 4, I had my second lunch. And then I came back along. And again, any of this central area, if you see the large trees there must be 300 or 400 of them. It's a truly special place. Now, if you allow me to overlay the trail map of the Backus Woods trails, you can see the red lines are trails that I did not do that add to the network that's there. And the blue line that you see is the trail that I did cover. Now, interestingly enough, the red trail that is to the rightmost in the path that I didn't do is actually currently closed for some reason. So anyhow, if you get a chance and you're in that area, I think this is well worth a day.